Well, hello everybody. Welcome to the video. My name is Brian, and today I want to talk about a question, first, that I haven't seen too many people discuss, and secondly, nobody seems to know the answer. And that is, how much cash should you keep on hand if you're in real estate? Now, why is that important? The number one reason for small business failure in this country is underfunding, not enough money. And I think people go into rental real estate thinking that they can do it, most of the work themselves, and it won't cost them as much. That may or may not be true, but experience has taught me that you need to have a set amount set aside. Now, let me differentiate what I mean by money on hand. I'm not talking about the money that you are planning to buy a new piece of property with. I'm not talking about the account that you pay your bills out of, like the utilities and the yard guy and all that. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about money set aside that you use to flip apartments or houses when they're empty. What do I mean? When somebody moves out of a house or an apartment, you have to paint, clean, maintain, sometimes carpet, sometimes cabinets, that kind of stuff, appliances. What's the right amount to have on hand to handle each one of those? I think it varies by size. I think when you're getting started and you've got your first property, I think a minimum of $5,000, because it's going to take, assuming that it needs everything when you go back in. That means carpet, paint, cleaning, any maintenance. $5,000 minimum. Then I think as you get a little bit bigger, I don't think you need, like if you had 5 units, I don't think you need to keep $25,000 on hand for that. I think it goes down. And when you get to a certain level, I think it goes way down. And I want to talk about that. When you're small and you're getting started, cash talks. But as you get bigger, and there are other forms of financing will present themselves, because the more money you have, the more money they want to loan you. So it's not like you're going to be stuck. If something major happens in your first place, you could have a problem. But if you've got 10 or 20 units and something happens, it's not going to hurt you as bad. And if it does, you could always fall back on financing. Also, if it's a major thing, that's why you have insurance. So all you really need to save is the deductible and any rents that you might lose along the way. So I'm going to tell you my method. When I first started in real estate, I made a video saying you needed to have $10,000 per door to cover emergencies. And I came up with that number because I had done one, and I did need all new carpet, all new padding, everything had to be repainted. I had to replace some appliances. So I needed 10 grand. Oh, and there was some bathroom work that needed to be done too. But now that we've gotten to be a certain size, and we had a storm come through, damaged one of my houses, all I had to do was pay the deductible, and the insurance company sent me a check for everything. So now that I'm at 10 doors right now. So at 10 doors, this is the method that I use. I take the average cost to flip a unit. So I'm not talking about the exceptions, the normal. You go in, you paint, you clean, you fix some stuff, replace the blinds, the toilet seats, For me, that's around 2 grand on average. Sometimes less, sometimes more, but around 2 grand. And then you also need to have in the bank, in this fund, you need to have whatever your insurance deductible is. For me, it happens to be $1,000. So $2,000 to flip the unit, $1,000 for the insurance. So that means $3,000 per door. So that means that if I have 10 doors, I should have 30 grand on hand to be able to handle these problems. I think the more doors I have, I think that number is probably going to go down, because the odds of something happening on more than one or two properties at a time, I don't need to save $1,000 per door for the insurance deductible. All I really need is a couple, three. And also that I've learned that I'm starting to collect stoves, refrigerators and stuff as I replace them, I repair them and keep them on hand. That might knock down my need to keep cash on hand also. So I think, especially in rental real estate, now I can't speak to restaurants and service industries, I can't speak to any of that. I'm talking strictly residential rental real estate, houses and apartments. And I think this is a good rule. I think the exception to this would be multi-units, especially if they're on top of each other. And I'll tell you why. Because if you have a pipe break in a single unit, yep, you're going to have damage, you're going to lose rents, blah, blah, blah. But if you have a multi-unit and they're on top of each other, if you have a water problem happen on the second floor, now you've got all the damage on that floor, plus it comes through the ceiling, and then you've got damage on the apartment below. So now you've got two vacancies, two things to flip, and two units to fix. I think it might be a little higher if you had multi-units on top of one another. But anyway, so the amount of money that you should have on hand if you're in residential rental real estate is this formula. Your average cost to flip the unit plus your deductible for 1 year on your homeowner's insurance. And then multiply that number times the total number of doors you have, and that'll tell you how much you should have on hand, in my opinion, to operate effectively and not come close to being in financial trouble if something happens. Well, if you've gotten any use or benefit out of this video, please consider subscribing and liking the video. I'm never going to monetize this channel because this is part of our ministry, but I would like to reach more people. So hit the like and subscribe, and you'll know the next time we put out a video. You guys have a great day, and we'll see you in the next one.